What's up, amigos? So today Lost Ark had its Western release, and this video, I know it's not Diablo related, and I apologize if this disappoints you, but this video is on my Lost Ark first impressions, my ratings, and my opinions, which are of my own, and how I feel with the 3 hours I've sunk in already. Obviously, these ratings could change in a couple more days, but again, this is just my opinion as of right now. So jumping right into it, let's just talk about the graphics. Overall, I'd rate the graphics a 7.5 out of 10. The graphics in general are gorgeous. There are some little things like models and certain objects that have very pixelated and or outdated textures, but the scenery and the aesthetic of the game is absolutely stunning. The level of detailing, especially in the cosmetics section, are simply amazing. But in some areas, at least in the beginning, near Log Hill for example, can seem bleak and empty and may bore people, but I can assure you it does get better. And that's just how most MMORPGs are. You're always going to run into areas that just seem bleak, they seem boring, you just can't wait to get out of them, and it's no different. So the gameplay. The gameplay, as of right now, I would rate an 8 out of 10. Right now, as the time of reviewing, based off the 3 hours I've had, I think the game is fun and at times very immersive. Since I did not dabble in the Russian or Korean version, I can't grade or leave my first impression based off of late game or anything of the sort, because I just haven't experienced it. For the combat, I would have to also rate it an 8 out of 10. I chose the Striker class, which is the male martial artist, and one thing I love about the combat is how immersive it feels when I hit something or someone. You can feel the actual impact and can feel the hit, the thud, the vibration, and cracking of each hit. And for this, I say it's one of the best combat combo MMOs I've played to date. I think it's way better than Blade and Soul. I think it's way better than Black Desert. The immersive, again, is what gets me, and that's why I give it an 8 out of 10. So, something that also gripped me about the game is the isometric top-down view. And amigos, I don't have to tell you, but yes, this game at first glance seems like Diablo, but that is just because of the top-down aspect. I can assure you it's not a dungeon-crawling hack-and-slash action RPG, it is an MMORPG. It just looks like an action RPG. Now, one thing that does, and I don't want to say upset me, but it always disappoints me when there's a lack of voice acting in the dialogue. I understand why, because the amount of dialogue in the game, it would just take a lot to voice every line, but as a sucker for full voice dialogue in games, this is just me nitpicking. And something I'd like to see more, because it really does immerse the player more into the story. And yes, I am one of those people who do enjoy stories. In MMOs, I don't rush through games normally. I like to enjoy the game, the story. With that being said, the cutscenes so far are fully voice acted, and that is a huge plus. And I've enjoyed them so far, so I'd rate the storytelling a 7 out of 10. The progression system, aka the talents, the roster level, etc., is confusing at the start, but once you take a minute to look at the features and how it works, it's fairly simple to understand. The quote-quote tutorial on these systems lack greatly, but I also come from an era where Tutorial Island in RuneScape was way too much for people to handle, and they got bored, thus resulting in them never playing the game, so take this with a grain of salt, I suppose. The progression system also has a more in-depth features like collections, etc., that seem extremely important, from what I'm seeing, for evolving your character over time with extra skill point, potions, and stat point potions. Which, more content is never a bad thing, especially in an MMORPG. Especially about hearing that this is just tier 1 of 3, which tier 3 is the current state of the Korean version, if I'm not mistaken, which means more content is to come with the additional more dungeons, raids, so that gives me an incentive to really take my time with the game and enjoy what the game has to offer. So, with all this being said, progression system, and just the amount of content, I would say, as in-depth as it is, I'd rate it an 8.5 out of 10. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the Crystalline Aura, which is their version of a membership. You do not need this to enjoy the game, at least from what I've seen. It doesn't seem like there's any content paywall, like RuneScape. which has the biggest content wall that I've ever seen in any game. But I will say it's a very nice quality of life thing to have active. There are plenty of things that I'm not sure what they are yet because I'm a new player and I've refrained from spoiling anything for this game because I've been looking forward to it for a long time now. But the two big things that stood out to me is once you get your first pet, you have these active buffs that aren't active unless you have the Crystalline Aura active. So it's things like a crit buff and I believe a health buff. There's also free fast travel fees, and from what I'm seeing, the fast travel fees could be pretty expensive and they can rack up. So the fact that everything's just free, teleporting back and forth, it's really nice. This game is not pay to win in any way. From what I've seen, it's just, as a member of my community put, pay for quality of life, which is beautifully put. You pay for quality of life features that do not improve your character's performance / power, etc. There are just bonuses, especially for the members feature. But again, please show me a game where there isn't. RuneScape puts you behind the biggest content wall I've ever seen. WoW is absolutely required to even play the game. Well, I lied. I believe you can play until like level 20 now or something, but then it's just you can't do anything else. And Elder Scrolls Online, let's be honest with it, you know? If you don't have an Elder Scrolls Online membership while you're playing Elder Scrolls, you just feel lost and alone. So all in all, I can see myself for many months to come sinking countless hours in the Lost Ark, which is what the plan was from the jump. I've been looking forward to this game since I first seen it being talked about early last year. And again, I've refrained from spoiling any content for myself, so all of it is fresh to me. And the purpose of this video is to help enlighten or give fresh perspective for all of you into the game that leads to your decision to play or not. Now, you can opt to purchase a Founders Pack, which gives you a head start that you see people participating in right now, or you can wait until the 11th of February when the game releases to the public as a free-to-play title. So, amigos, will I be making more Lost Ark content videos? Maybe. There are tons of content creators that know the game inside and out that have been playing the Korean version and the Russian version since the beginning. But if anyone is interested in learning the game with me at my own pace, then sure, I can see myself making more videos of me learning my class more, the economy, the skills, dungeons, raids, etc. But until that time, amigos, happy hunting. Can I say that in these videos? Whatever. We're going to do it anyways. Happy hunting, and until next time.